Hey guys, in this video I'm going to give you a news update about what's going on in the Philippines as of December 24th, 2020. Stick around. Okay guys, so we do have a little bit of news coming out of the Philippines. So first I'm going to go into some general news about the vaccine, and then we'll get into travel and international travel in the Philippines here. So first off, a concern that the Philippines has is a black market COVID-19 vaccine is a bigger health risk. And it's funny that I was just the other day, my friend and I were talking about knockoffs and imitations and things like that in the Philippines. And you have to really be aware, especially when shopping on like Lazada or Shopee. You order a pair of Nikes and it's 500 pesos, which is $10. So obviously it's not real. When you're shopping downtown at the markets here, you got to be careful with knockoffs. Electronics, everything from electronics to honey. Apparently 75% or 70% of all honey in the Philippines is not real. It's false. It's made out of mainly corn syrup and things like that. There's not a lot of regulations that keep these things in check here, so you got to really be careful in the Philippines about that. And so now we got vaccine black market possibly coming out. So, underground vaccination against the coronavirus, as it might be more lethal than the disease itself, Department of Health warned the public yesterday. So I'm not going to go through all of this. You guys can read it. Again, it'll be down in the comments section, not in the description, in the comments section. And so these are things you got to be careful of in the Philippines. Knockoffs and underground black market of vaccines now. Definitely would not take a vaccine in the Philippines. If you're an expat watching this, go back to your home country. Perhaps contact your embassy to see where you could get one if you want one. Again, many people don't want one. I know in the United States we've got some options coming out and people are starting to get vaccinated. And then we have, of course, the people who don't want a vaccine, and that's, of course, totally fine either way. But yeah, so we got that. I'll let you read the article on that. Now, we do have the new strain of the COVID-19 coming out of the UK. So the Philippines now has closed borders to the UK due to mutated coronavirus strain. It joins a growing list of countries which have banned the entry of travelers from the UK where a more infectious strain of the COVID-19 virus has been detected. So even if you are married to a Filipina, you have a child here, or you have a business or an investment visa here in the Philippines, if you are from the UK, you cannot get over to the Philippines. So that is some news coming out. But shouldn't be a big surprise. That's happening quite a bit all over now. Boracay update. Now, Boracay is kind of tagged as the flagship of tourism in the Philippines. It's just the probably the #1 destination, I believe, in the Philippines. So how are they coping with the vaccine? Well, here we go. Business at the popular destination is still struggling, and staff have been laid off despite the best efforts of its resilient resort and bar owners. So for those of you who don't know, Boracay did open up to domestic tourism, I think maybe in October. I may be wrong on that. But here are some numbers. Like I had mentioned earlier, this domestic tourism, there's still so many hoops that you need to jump through, and people don't really have the money either. So people really aren't doing the domestic tourism. But only 3,703 people arrived between December 1 and 12. Fewer visitors to the island than in a single day before the pandemic struck. So, doesn't seem too successful. As with just about every other destination reliant on tourism, the economy of the Philippine island of Boracay has been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Already many businesses shuttering. I'd only give it a few more months before things get critical. Since then, the island has managed to remain COVID-free, has reopened to domestic tourism. So my guess is that you're going to start to see bubble tourism. You're going to see the Philippines start to kind of follow suit with what Thailand did. And you're going to have like Thailand opening up. They'll have to maybe quarantine, or maybe they'll have to show proof of the vaccine or what have you. I don't know. But they may follow something similar to what Thailand did. We'll have to see what happens at the New Year. It's going to be interesting times. But these mega destinations that are almost totally reliant on tourism, like Bohol and Boracay, and Cebu is pretty heavy into tourism as well. They're going to have to do something, and domestic tourism is not cutting it. So I think they're going to start eyeing bubble tourism, or if you've had a vaccine, then you could probably get over. So we'll see what happens. Again, article will be down in the comments. Last thing I want to get you caught up on, I got a lot of emails and people inquiring about this. They heard, hey, Cebu is reopening to international tourism. That's kind of a yes and no thing, and I'll explain a little bit more. But articles are Cebu to reopen to international flights for foreign tourists. So a lot of times in the Philippines, you get these news articles. Just a couple weeks back, the news article said something like, Cebu opens up to all other areas in Region 7 without restriction. And you're like, wow, so Negros here is part of Region 7, the Dumaguete and Cebu. And so I was thinking, oh, wow, we can go to Cebu now. And then you read the article, and the article says that the governor is considering opening it up to Region 7. So that makes the news. Just because she's pondering something or considering something, it makes headlines. So it gets you excited, and then that's not the case. It's not. She's just considering it. Much like this news. So basically what happens is the mayor of Lapu-Lapu, which is where the Mactan Cebu International Airport is located, have agreed to reopen the country's second busiest air hub to international arrivals. So the governor and the mayor of Mactan have decided on this. That's all great, but unfortunately, it's not up to them. They have to get permission from the IATF, which I believe is the Interagency Task Force. And they are the ones responsible. They're responsible for setting the quarantine levels, like general community quarantine, enhanced community quarantine, modified general community quarantine, domestic tourism, who can travel from here to there, what the requirements are, things like that. So now that the governor and the mayor have agreed to open it up to international tourism and international flights, now they need to go talk to the IATF and get permission from them. So that's the part that a lot of people are confused on. Just because they've agreed on it doesn't mean the IATF will. And also, we'll see who they open up to. So, yeah, he said the mayor met with the governor on Monday to get her support on his plan to reopen international flights, to which the governor agreed. So, again, fantastic, but they need the IATF's permission. We'll send word to the entire world that we're open for business, Garcia said during the meeting. Again, it sounds fantastic, but we have to get the IATF on board in order for that to happen. So she's pushed for the reopening of tourism activities in the province to allow the economy to recover from the crippling effects of the coronavirus disease. So they have agreed to lay down uniform guidelines on the plan, which also gained the support of Tourism Regional Director. More good news. The governor also pushed for the reopening of the province borders for tourists from neighboring provinces in Central Visayas. So we'll have to see. It was not clear, however, the tourists from the United Kingdom will be allowed to enter Cebu. The UK reported over the weekend discovery of a new strain of COVID that spread faster, prompting to imposition of stricter lockdowns in the European country. So it's funny how America was really they were the ones that nobody's letting Americans in. And now it's shifted over to the UK because of this new strain. So interesting times. interesting times to see what is going to happen. Southeast Asia, again, we really just have Thailand with a bunch of hoops to jump through if you want to go over there. Indonesia, if you want to get over there on a social or a business visa. And Philippines seems to want to follow suit. I've also did hear a little bit about Myanmar and Cambodia wanting to try to open up as well. So next year, hopefully, some good news will come. And so for the rest of 2020, we're going to have to just write it off. 2020 is in the books, as they say, as far as international travel goes, unless you want to head down to Central and South America. Again, this is December 24th, 2020, so I want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas. Thank you for all the support on my channel. My channel has just been growing. Fantastic. I really appreciate it and all the support. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please consider sharing it. Hit the thumbs up. That does help with the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe. That way you're notified. And hit the bell notification and you'll know when all my new videos come out, live streams, and other events. Thank you guys and see you next time.
Come on.
Bye.
Say it, baby. I know you're on a roll. Sweet honey, let's take it